just since the spring up until now, how have you seen the younger cornerbacks continue to develop?
They've done a good job, really from a mental standpoint. Just learn this defense, and therefore, smarter football players are better football players. So they're just becoming better because they're becoming smarter. And you can tell that a lot of those guys really put in a lot of work to become better. From Jalen Todd, Jamil Crawl, to Jacoby Davis. I mean, those guys have really done a good job, off the field, and therefore they're playing a lot faster now that they're back on the field, which is fun to see.
With your NFL background, Kobe and Melo both have NFL aspirations. What do you see from them that they need to improve to get to that point?
Yeah, what they got to improve is just a lot of off the field habits, just from how they study the game. Not to say they don't study football, but just studying a little better, becoming a little better, so they can anticipate plays and not just guess on some plays. And there's a difference between anticipating and guessing. And so the more they can anticipate and kind of see the whole picture and let the game slow down to them, the more plays they're going to make. And they'll both admit that they left some plays out on the field, last year, even throughout all the many plays that they made. And so if they can just become a little better at the anticipation, they're going to make a lot more plays, going to make us better, and ultimately at the end of the day, it's going to make them better too. Because if they get better, then we all get better.
What sort of jump have you seen from Jalen Todd so far?
Just a great jump. In the spring, he was battling a shoulder injury, and now he's 100% healthy. And so now you get a chance to see the physical part that he wasn't able to show in the spring. He was able to show, to be able to backpedal, change directions, do all that good stuff. But now you're getting to see a guy who can go and really wrap someone up and knock him sideways or backwards, which is fun to see. And it might give us some position flexibility too as we continue to go along.
How much is his body transformation with the weight, how much has that helped him adapt as a true freshman?
Number one, it's just helped him with confidence. You look at yourself in the mirror all greased up, and you look, you have 20 pounds on you. Right now, I know we wouldn't feel happy having 20 pounds, but when you're 18 and you put on 20 pounds of muscle, that really means a lot to you. So I think just from a confidence standpoint, he's feeling really good. And then, like I said, now when he puts his hands on people, they really feel 190 pounds hitting him instead of 170, and that's a big difference. And so you can see that on the field. Like I said, he's able now to knock some guys sideways, backwards, and he's gained speed even from that, which is really good too. So sky's the limit for him, which is a lot of fun.
McGee's coming off being banged up previously, and then what have you seen from him in the spring and the fall?
Just consistency. He's been really consistent. He had one of the best springs that we had in the secondary, and so now he's just continuing to bring that along and able to push some guys, and once again, just give us some flexibility on some things we can do on the back end. If we get into some third down packages and different things like that, you're able to move some guys around, and you can throw him on the field and feel confident that he can go and play at the level, hopefully, that Kobe and Melo are playing also.
I know it's early, but what have you seen from Austin Alexander so far?
Austin Alexander got a bright future. Has a really bright future here, and if he keeps progressing, it may be sooner than later. He's really pushing some guys. He's a smart football player. He's a competitive football player, and he doesn't struggle moving around on the football field. So really, the sky's the limit, and it's really going to be up to Austin what this year really provides for him. Because he has all the skill and ability. Now it's about putting the mental part together and then letting all that take over and be a playmaker for us here.
Some of the guys you're looking at for that nickel corner spot, obviously you know Kobe, Melo, but who's kind of competing for that spot?
Yeah, Kobe will be there. Queso will be there. We'll also look at possibly Jalen Todd playing in that spot too. So we got a couple other guys. Jacoby Davis could run in there and play a little bit. So we got some guys that we're throwing around, which is good. It's a really good problem to have. I know some teams struggle getting guys in there. I think we got a multitude of guys who can go in there and play and really play it at a high level. And that might be some guys' future to help us out there.
Kobe's obviously mostly played on the outside for corner. Is that something that you talked about with him having that flexibility to have snaps and stuff at?
Yeah, the funny thing is, I was about to call him, and it's funny, he texted me right away and said, I want to learn and play in there. And that we've been in a meeting, he's been right on it, ready to go. And if I had to throw him in right now, I know he'll do a good job in there. We all know Kobe will compete with the best of them. So I'm excited if we go that direction to throw him in there at the slot corner. I know he'll do a heck of a job. And, like I said, that's just going to make us better. And at the end of the day, really boost his stock also.
We've heard about you getting a chance to help out with some other position groups as well and make an impact there. Just how do you balance that with your own work with the cornerbacks as well?
My past has been coaching the whole back end, so it's really nothing new. It's just something I've always done, and sometimes it's good just to have one voice in there so everybody can hear the same message and all be on the same page, because you really can't have any mistakes in the secondary. I think everybody in the stadium knows when the DBs mess up. So we got to do a good job of all being on the same page. I think all of us being in that meeting room really helps, and I think it goes to the trust that Coach Leipold and Coach Borland have in me to be able to coach that whole back end to the standard to which we play here at KU.
Bellows talked about being more of a vocal leader and kind of growing in that regard. Have you seen a lot of growth from him?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of growth from him, and it's in his own little way. He brings guys, in, talks to them, but he's done a great job of really helping these young guys out. And one of the big things we always talk about here at KU is leaving it better than we found it. And I know if he continue on the path he's doing about communicating with everybody, he's gonna leave it a lot better than he's found it, because he has a lot of wisdom to share. So it's always good when those guys like him and Kobe and like I said, Kobe, OJ, those guys got a lot of wisdom to share, because they got some scars and they got some rewards too. So sharing that with the guys is really important. So it's fun to see those guys grow. It's less talking I got to do, less losing my voice.
Jamil is someone that Coach Leipold brought up a lot during the spring. Just what have you seen from him kind of through the first couple of
Jamil's done a great job. For Jamil, it's always about attitude. It's never about skill. And I think he's learning how to have a great attitude and choosing a great attitude. And as a result, his play has become better. And so if he can continue on that path, he's another guy who's fighting to help us. And the fun thing about the secondary room this year is that there's tons of competition. And I know we got our big dogs playing, but there's a lot of guys behind them trying to fight and be ready. If God forbid something happens, we can go, or give us a multiple package too. So Jamil's right in that fight with everybody else. I love how competitive he is. There's not too many guys who's more competitive than him and wants to do it right. And so now for him, it's about stacking day after day in the right direction.
What was the biggest reason you decided to leave the NFL to come to Lawrence?
The biggest reason was just to work with Coach Leipold. I think it's what he's done throughout his career is just amazing. It kind of speaks for itself. So when you get an opportunity to kind of work with a guy like that and get to learn from him, I think that's really important. I've been very fortunate throughout my career to work with guys like Matt Campbell, who's a tremendous leader, tremendous head coach, Nick Sirianni, who's a tremendous coach for the Philadelphia Eagles. So get to learn from them. And then, even early in my career, I learned from a guy named Lou Tepper, who was a Big Ten coach and a coach for a very long time and a great defensive mind. So I've been very fortunate. And I think when these opportunities come up to work with guys who have so much wisdom and know how to win and know how to lead a young man, I think that's a great opportunity that you always got to jump at. And me and my family thought it was the best thing for us to come here and continue to learn and continue to progress. And it's also good to be here and help and coach the whole secondary and go from there.
What did you think? What do you think about the experience of practicing at Children's Mercy Park on Friday?
I think that's priceless. I think it is to go there and kind of see the atmosphere. I think you don't want to go into a situation for the first time and be caught up in the lights and the oohs and ahs. You want to get that all out of the way. And so I think that's very good. Just a change of stimulus is always good for guys. We probably didn't respond the way that we should have in the practice, but that's a lesson learned. You rather bleed in battle than die in the war. And, it was something that we had to learn. And now we can go out when we play in a game and put our best foot forward and go out and play good against Lindenwood.
With the way people spread things out offensively, you have to have versatility and cover skills, kind of all over the place. How much of a benefit is it to have guys who have the body types like Jalen Todd, like Jamil Croft, who can kind of play different spots around the secondary, where if you have to move them around or whatever you can?
Oh, it's very priceless. Like you said, so many teams spread this field out, so it's a lot of field to cover there. So when you got body types that are long, athletic, like you said, like chess pieces that you can move all over the board, I think that's really important. I think, like I said, we have that this year with, like you said, guys like Jalen Todd, or guys like that. Jamil, can do that. Even Austin Alexander can do some things like that where they can move around. I think we can start to make offenses think a little bit more and wonder what we're in, and at the same time be able to match up man to man and cover these guys and get real sticky and tight and try to make these quarterbacks hit some tight windows.
Does Andre have kind of an interesting skill set in terms of maybe being, a little bit thicker guy that you can put in that slot, can give you some things in run support and whatever else?
Yeah, Dre's been really impressive just from a mental standpoint too. He's very mature beyond his years, and you love those type of guys, because they can get on the field early and they won't be shocked by, power 4 competition at all. And so like you said, with that thick body he has, you like him in the run game, he can sustain in there, get off blocks and different things like that. But one thing I really like about Dre is that he really loves special teams. And so, you know, when you looked at his highlight tape and his game tape, you know, he was a returner and different things like that. And that hasn't fallen off at all since he's been here. He's done a good job of getting back there, returning kicks. So I think he's going to help us there first, and then, you know, if we need him to go in there with a thick body inside, he's going to be able to do that too. Like I said, we got tons of versatility here on the inside, in the back end, which is really good, really exciting. A lot of competition. Competition brings out the best in you, and so I like to see these guys bringing their best foot forward because they can't take a day off, which is good.
Austin was a good kick returner too. Any other DBs working at the return spots or whatever?
Yeah, naturally Kobe's back there too.
Yeah.
You know, and then Jacoby Davis. You know, he has some cat quickness that can go back there. And so, you know, like I tell those guys, man, in order for us to be great on special teams, those guys in the DB room, they have to be a critical part in it. And so that's what they're doing. And then, you know, even if their future, they want to play in the NFL, man, that's what they're going to do. They're going to have to play on special teams and be an impact there in order to be great, you know, at any level. So I'm excited about what our guys are doing on the back end and on special teams.
Obviously, it was on Sundays, not Saturdays, but what do you remember about going to Arrowhead Stadium?
The atmosphere. You know, I remember that chomp they keep doing, which is good. We ended up winning the game, so we didn't hear it as much as we could have. But it's a great atmosphere. It's one of the few NFL stadiums that's like a college atmosphere, which is fun, and it's going to be exciting for our guys to go down there and play. And I know, you know, the KU alums, they're all going to show up. Our fans are going to show up, which will be really nice. And we got some exciting games down there too. But at the end of the game, at the end of the year, at the end of the day, it's just football, and the field is just the same as it is out here. So there's really no difference except for the hashes and numbers. But the field is just as long and just as wide. So our guys just got to go play ball and not get excited about all the lights and the glam of playing at Arrowhead.
Anything else for Coach?